Hello, friends. Blake and Jason here. This is not the way we usually start an episode of Couch Pilots, and definitely not the way we were expecting to start this one. But on Monday, April 26th, friend and guest of the show, Lucas Newhouse, passed away. And while we're not going to get into the details of his passing other than it was COVID-related, it should be noted that Lucas was a guest on the program numerous times, part of the Couch Pilots lore as one of our beloved baggage boys, left us some of the most bewildering and hilarious voicemails we've ever received, one-time co-host of the show, member of our all-male choir singing in the 12 Days of Couch Pilots, and above all, Lucas was a friend. Now, people often say that I have a dry sense of humor, but Lucas had me beat there tenfold. In my experience, it was rare to see him crack a smile or even audibly laugh, but not super rare at all to hear him crack a joke in the most deadpan way imaginable. Lucas was a musician that I had the pleasure of seeing perform on a number of occasions. He was a beloved son, brother, and uncle, and he was always ready to tell you how it was, exactly like it is. There's more than a handful of instances where he called me out directly, and while it never came across as angry or hateful, it did come across as sincere. And when I think about Lucas, I think that's where he hung his hat on his sincerity. I had known Lucas for well over a decade, and this loss was as unexpected as it will be difficult to accept. But Blake and I just want to say that we love you, Lucas. You're not going to be forgotten, and you'll absolutely be missed. This episode is for you, buddy.
Mom and Dad went to a show. They dropped me off at Grandpa Joe's. I kicked and screamed, so please no. Grandma, take me home. 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 I had to eat my dinner there. Mashed potatoes and stuff like that. I couldn't chew my meat too good. Grandma, take me home. 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 Said my daughter, stop crying. Go outside and ride the bike. That's what I did. I kept my tongue. Grandma, take me home. 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 After dinner, I had ice cream. I fell asleep and watched TV. I woke up in my mother's arms. Grandma, take me home. Grandma, take me home.
Welcome to Couch Pilots, all of my friends. It's the show that dares to fly into the unknown territory of awful television pilots of the past. My name is Jason, and with me is the man who doesn't have a ghost of a chance. It's Captain Philip Ressich.
In life in general, I don't have a chance.
He don't have a ghost of a chance!
I'm not winning. I'm not winning nothing.
It's tough to win things. I am so non-competitive because I don't think I'm going to win anything.
Well, I don't necessarily mean a bowling tournament or an online video game tournament. I just mean in life, just like getting through the day. Like I don't think there's a day where that goes by like when I lay down, I'm like, I won it today.
I kicked today's ass.
I kicked today's ass. That doesn't happen.
I sucked the day's dick.
Yeah. These nuts. Hey, thank you very much for your speech there at the beginning.
Yeah? Yeah, thank you.
Lucas was a damn cool dude. You know what I mean? And like I said, you guys were friends a lot longer. You brought him over to be on the show. Like the first time you brought him over to be on the show, I had never met him or anything.
Yeah.
And from a podcasting standpoint, we've brought people in here and that have never done it before, but you sometimes have to lead them through a lot of stuff, like our bits or whatever.
Sure.
And even never meeting the guy, and first time he sat down, we were on the mic for like 5 minutes, and it was very obvious. Like we don't have to. There's no leash needed for this guy. I mean, and when you said about how deadpan, I honestly don't. I don't think you're right. I think you're right. I don't think I'd ever saw him chuckle about anything.
Yeah, like I hang my hat on like being the funny guy. So like Lucas always made me earn it, you know.
Sure.
And he wasn't being a dick about it. He was
just
it was deadpan. And I tell you, you're right. Sometimes we bring over people and they have no idea what the show is. They're not interested. Some of my friends even that I've had on like one time, and it's like they've never heard it. They don't care. I think it's not only because I knew Lucas and he knew my sensibilities, but I think, you know, he was a listener of the show.
Yeah,
he
for
did
sure.
listen. So he knew the theme and the cadence. And it was, I do remember the first time he came. I don't remember the show that we watched, and I don't remember the specifics of the jokes. But what I do honestly remember is how well the two of you got along.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
And so when we had a spat a while back and I had Hoover as my co-host, we had Lucas be your co-host.
Right.
And I thought, boy, that'd be a good fit because you guys, again, got along so well when he was on those times. So
Yeah, no, he and you know, at the visitation, you know, his mom never met me or anything, and I, you know, I was like, oh, what? First of all, I in typical Lucas form, like you said, you know, he kind of told it like it was, you know.
yeah.
And I was looking through the stuff they had, you know, the memorabilia and stuff. And his mom was amazing. She kept everything that kid ever had, and she had it all organized. Like, there's no way they got all that stuff together, you know, and you know, for this event.
Yeah,
like she was, you know, she kept everything, and she kept it in binders. It was great. But there was like this essay he had to write for at school, and obviously he wasn't, you know, it wasn't high school. It was probably still like, you know, junior high or before. And it was like somebody that you admire or whatever, and his was like, it was about Randy Rhoads, you know, because, you know, he was a musician. So
For Ozzy, right?
yeah. And like he had obviously had a conversation with his teacher at some point, and his teacher was like, oh, you should check out Eric Clapton. And he was just like, in this essay, he was like, you know, you've talked about this Eric Clapton. I've never heard of him. He's probably a douchebag or whatever. And then like all you see is like a big red pen.
You can't write that, kid.
Yeah. There's like a red pen, like, you know, the teacher red pen, like a whole paragraph, you know. And what was cool about it was, and what made it funny was, it showed that he was just like, I'm just going to tell you what I think, you know. It's not negative, just but like
Right. Yeah,
his opinion, and that, you know. But it was just cool that this teacher wasn't like shitty about it, you know. And for him writing that, she was like, or he or she was like, yeah, well, here's this CD, you should check this out, blah blah blah. You know, he's really good, you know. But it was just funny that Lucas was like, he's probably a douchebag, and I think he's a douchebag too. Me and
Eric Clapton?
yeah,
Yeah.
letting your kid jump off a balcony, but
I don't think he'd encourage that, but
he said, I bet you can't do it. No.
oh yeah, Dad.
But no, Lucas was a very talented person. I mean, he was a musician. Like I said, he did stand-up comedy before.
See, I don't think I knew that.
And
what, the jukebox? He did open mic or what?
I'm not sure where the video was taken, but I saw. And he was a creative guy that put it out there. Like, and that's half the battle, is even putting it out there. You know, a lot of people like, oh, I love to play music, but well, let me hear you play something. No, I can't do that. He put it out there, you know.
Yeah, it's okay. So he had, over the years, he had given me 4 CDs of the music he had made, and I was going through them in the past week and just kind of saying, I'd like to play one of his songs. He loved Nirvana, so that's why we played that up top. But I wanted to play one of his songs too, and we'll be playing one at the end of the show. I thought it was a pretty good. It was raw, but still produced pretty well, and I enjoyed it. And I think everyone, if you want to stick around at the end of the program and listen to that, I bet you enjoy it as well. But yeah, we went separately. You and I went separately because you had to get to work, and I was going to stay for the funeral, and you couldn't stay for that because you had to get into work. But you and did you go through the line with Scott, or is that separately?
No, yeah, we went through the line together.
Okay. Yeah, I went by myself. Sammy, one of Lucas's good friends, and it was me and Sammy and Lucas when we hung out. Sammy's since moved away, but Sammy's dad is there, and Sammy could not make it back. He's in Georgia, but he'll be back in a few weeks, and I fully plan to have him on the show then, and we can, you know, wax a little bit more about Lucas and what have you. But yeah, the visitation was good. He had a really kind of cool rock and roll like quilt over his casket. Awesome. And everyone that was involved, like all of his family, purposely was wearing like Simpsons, Tennessee Titans, just
Teenage Mutant
rock and roll.
Turtles. Yeah.
They're all just kind of saying, this is how he would want it.
Sure.
Well, I mean, do we own suits and dresses? Yeah, probably, but I don't think he would want that, and he wouldn't have.
Yeah,
so
for sure.
it was cool that they honored him in that way. And then during the funeral portion, it was nice. They gave a time to anyone to stand up and share. And there was about 5 or 6 people, and I went last. I didn't know I was going to be the last one, but I did go last. And if you'd like, I can tell the story that I told.
Oh, for sure.
At the funeral. All right. Well, I stood up, and everyone before me was saying, they're all saying these real nice things about Lucas. Oh, he's a great guy, and he's a great musician. I'll never forget the times that are, at the open mic that he helped run, and Lucas literally saved my life. And I believe all those things to be true, but that's not the kind of story I wanted to tell. Sure. So I was going to tell a story about how he almost killed me. No. One time, I used to have. I'll say verbatim what I said there. It's like, "Hi, my name is Jason, and I have very short hair because I just got my hair cut." And I said, "But I used to have really long hair, and Lucas had long hair for a long time." And one time, I went to pick up Lucas to go to a concert or to get something to eat or hang out. I don't remember what it was, but when I picked him up, when he got in the car, he didn't say, "Hey, Jason, how's it going?" He didn't say, "Hey, I'm looking forward to the concert," or "Man, I'm hungry. Let's get something to eat." He saw that I had cut off all my hair, and he said, "Sell out." And that was awesome because that's the kind of guy that he was. Yeah. He didn't say it in an angry or hurtful manner at all. He was just being sincere, and that's why, like I said, I think that's who he was. And I think I was crying a little bit at that point. But I said, it's a total bummer that Lucas is not going to be around. He's a really, really funny dude. And then I sat down, and that was it.
That's awesome, though.
So.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yep.
Great baggage boy. Every time, there was no suitcases dinged up. There was nothing lost. He tagged him, bagged him.
We had Eli for a long time, and he got in trouble for looking at so much pornography, which whatever you guys are doing is not curing him. The boy loves porno. He loves it. And you know what? I get it.
Yeah, my thing now is I come home from work, and he comes out into the living room because he thinks he has to welcome you, to the house like his mom. Like he feels like he has to come to the door.
Feels obligated to get
I don't know.
up.
It's some weird thing.
Okay.
But
I like
but
that.
he always comes out and hey, how was work? That's the first question. How was work?
What a good boy.
And I'm like, yeah, work was fine. You might want to zip your pants up.
Yeah,
I just went to the bathroom. No, you didn't.
You smell like a load, son. Let me smell those hands.
Yeah, you were choking the chicken. Hopefully you finished before you heard the garage door.
Lord.
But he can hear that garage door from like 8 miles away.
It's a loud garage door. And that's what you have to do when you're a kid and you're living at home, or if you're any man living in an environment where you can be busted jerking off.
Sure.
You have to really be in tune with your environment so you can hear those little cues.
Sure.
Is that a floor creaking? Better zip up my pants.
Well, you know what I've done now? Like I have totally just like succumbed to like, you know what? I don't care. Mm-hmm. And overshare, which I never do. The other morning, I was like, I'm horny, and she's asleep. Usually I try to be all secretive. I just jerked off right there next to her. She's
Violently.
sleeping. Not violently, but I was just like...
shaking the bed.
But, most guys are like, I don't want my wife to find out I was jerking off. I was like, you know what? Whatever. This has to get done. And I was told by a buddy about that. He goes, I don't know if I would be scared that she'd wake up.
Scared?
I was like, what's she going to do? She's just going to call you a pervert or call you an asshole?
Guy needs it. He needs it. He needs that release. So, yeah, Eli will remain our baggage boy because he came back.
Sure.
But
he went through...
rehabilitation.
Rehabilitation, and it didn't work.
It did not work.
It cost $5,000.
The rehabilitation was... hey, I'm going to sit down with you're going to sit down with your parents and watch a whole porno with them, right?
Yeah.
Was that the
Yeah.
But
me and him were like, nice. My wife was like, oh, this is how do you guys like this?
Oh, gross. That the second position as baggage boy going forward will remain vacant though, and
for sure. The Couch Pilots Wall of Fame for sure.
Yeah, he was a real good guy, and I always enjoyed having him on. He was so in tune, and he was one of the people that if you asked, he would always say yes. He would always want to do it, and
which is hard for us to get people.
Sometimes it's hard, but he was always willing, and I'll kick myself for not having him on a little bit more, but hindsight's 2020. What can you do?
And we were going through a pandemic at the time. We weren't having anybody on for a while. You know what I mean? So
That's true. That is true.
But R.I.P. Lucas to his family. His mom definitely cared a lot about him, and his family did. But he had
a lot of people show up. There was probably I wasn't there for the entire visitation, but I was busy, and then I would say at the funeral itself, I bet there was 70, 80 people there. A lot of people in and out, and I ran into an ex-girlfriend there.
Really?
Yeah. So
when you have that many,
not a recent one, an old one from like 10 years ago.
Oh. I was gonna say you're bound to eventually get them. So.
Oh sure.
Lucas wouldn't want us to just sit here and go over and
No, we're not going to cry the fucking blues the whole show,
right,
but we have some people that remember Lucas, and they called into the show and left some voicemails because this is the first time we're addressing it on the show. Obviously, people close to us that knew him were well versed that he had passed away a few weeks ago. And again, this is the first time we've recorded since then, so we're not neglecting it. But we also put it out there on Twitter, and there is a GoFundMe. And I'll just mention that real quickly, too. They're about $900 away from reaching their goal to help with some funeral expenses. But if you go to GoFundMe.com and you search Luke's funeral expenses, it'll pop up. If you can spend a few bucks, that would be awesome. If you subscribe to our Patreon, hey, skip a month. Put that towards Lucas's thing. We actually had someone from overseas donate their money. They know who they are, and thank you very much. And a lot of our buddies threw in some cash, too.
And also, when the show, we posted it on the Couch Pods Facebook page, so there's a straight up link to it. So
yeah,
but so we got a couple voicemails. We'll play them, and here we go.
Hello, pilots. I wanted to call in with a memory from our good buddy Lucas. There was this time back when we recorded the Couch Pilots 200 episode, and we watched Wings. Everybody was over at Air Force One, and he was standing there in Blake's kitchen, and I was holding Ian when he was like less than a year old, and he just Ian was like reaching out for him, and I was like, oh, okay, here you go. And I just gave Ian to Lucas because he was just sitting there, and Ian was just kind of like petting his beard or whatever, and I just went and like did something for a second, and I came back and I was like, I think he likes you, and he's like, yeah, oh, cool. And I went to his Facebook. I'm not friends with him on Facebook, but I went to his Facebook, and he said, I helped this baby today, and he was like petting my face when he tried to poke me in the eye. It was funny and adorable. And somebody commented and said, quote, this baby. LMAO. He says, I don't know his name. I'm at this party thing, and somebody has a baby, and he put his arms out to me, so I held him. And he said, very cute. He said, absolutely. I share that just because I wouldn't have given my less than a year-old child to anybody that I didn't trust, and Lucas was one of those guys that you could just trust. So it was a pretty cool memory. One of the few memories that I have with our buddy Lucas. Every time he was in the pilot's lounge, he was very, very fun, very funny, quick wit, and that's what I'm going to miss about him, is his quick wit and great sense of humor. Anyways, just wanted to drop in and share that with you. I know that you got the voicemail is filled with his voice in the past, that's for sure. So you can always hear that, which is great. Our friend Adam Z said that you always have that audio of somebody talking, which is great. So anyways, have a good ep. We'll talk to you later. Bye.
I thought he said not held a baby. I thought he said I helped a baby. But he said held. If it was helped, that would be right. Like he saw a baby just by itself.
I took care of it.
In distress.
I helped him. I helped that baby.
All right. We got another one?
Yeah, give me a second here.
Sure. Thank you, Kevin, very much.
No, for sure. And that's a great story. And Lucas was like that. I mean, kids were, he was great with kids.
Very specifically in some of the funeral notes and what they talked about there is that like babies and animals were attracted to him.
Yeah.
Like
Well,
he was a Beastmaster.
And, well, that means you have a good heart. Like, there's just some kind of like magnet that like, oh, this is a good-hearted person.
Animals see me and run. That's why I have to trick squirrels to coming up to me. Does that mean I have a black heart?
You spend about $800 a year on peanuts and squirrel food.
Trying to get animals to love me.
Just to love you. Just to take a picture of their penis. That's all it is.
I did do that.
I know you did. All right, here we got another one here.
Hey guys, this is Scott Big E. Just wanted to say rest in peace to Luke, our buddy Luke. It was always a pleasure hearing you on the show. Sorry you're gone, buddy. Fly high. Peace.
Scott,
Big E. Yeah.
security here at the program. Yeah, thank you, Scott. I appreciate you calling in.
Well, can I tell you a Scott Lucas story?
I would love it.
Well, so me and Lucas, me and Scott went to at the same time. We had availability, but we're standing in line, and we're watching the video, which was amazing. It was an amazing video that we had that they did. We had pictures and his music and stuff.
Yeah,
I could have watched it. I could have watched it all
It was
day.
his music, and then him playing his music, and then it would fade out, go to a handful of pictures, and go back to that. It wasn't any pre-done church music. It was all his audio. And when I went through the line, his brother's like, "Yeah, I put that together." He said it took me like 16 hours. I was like, "Dude, you did him right. This is right."
Yeah, but we were going through the line, and it was a situation where, like, I hung out with Lucas quite a few times, but I didn't know his family or anything. Mm-hmm. So, how do you introduce yourself in that situation? You know what I mean? So we get up there, and we're the next in line, and Biggie goes, he's standing behind me, and Biggie goes, "I'm going to let you handle this."
Did Scott promote his podcast at all at the funeral?
Well, he was giving out business cards.
He was?
Yeah, he had a Biggie karaoke Biggie T-shirt. No,
I'd be disappointed if he wasn't. So
no,
good on you, Scott.
But I was like, how do I introduce myself to his mother? And I said, my name is Blake Clayton. This is a Biggie, and we used to podcast a lot with Lucas. And his brother heard the word podcast, and his mom's like, "Oh, he used to he loved it. He loved doing that with you." And his brother's like, "Oh, I heard podcast." And so it was good that two things. It was good that it wasn't awkward in the fact that his mom was like, "What do you mean a podcast?" So it's obvious that he enjoyed himself enough that he was proud of what he did. You know what I mean? And he should be. But yeah, it was super cool, and it just kind of made that easier. Like, I'm not just some stranger, that you have no idea who you are, who I am or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, so
no, you're absolutely right. It obviously meant something to him. And when I went through the line, I didn't mention podcasting. I just said, "Hey, Jason." Well, I didn't know his family very well.
Yeah, but when I said I do a podcast with Jason, and she knew instantly. She's like,
you said
no,
me? Okay.
Yeah, for sure. No, yeah, that's yeah.
Well, I didn't really know his family. I'd met him once or twice before, but just briefly. I met his mom a few times, and I said, "Hey, I'm Jason. I worked with Lucas at the hotel for a number of years." And said, "Oh, hi." And she kind of ushered me on, and then I was talking to his brother for a second, and then she turned around at me and said, "Jason, what is it?" I said, "Jason Tosher," and she slapped me. Said, "Jason Tosher." Okay, yes. And then she gave me a big hug, and I mean, I don't want to make it about me or anything, but I was glad that something registered there.
Sure.
I can't imagine being in her position. If I'm not a drug guy at all, but if I was in a position where I was burying my child, I would just be I would be out of it. Like, I would be on drugs, and I would be just such a fucking blank slate.
Sure.
Like, nothing would stick. Nothing would register with me. So I don't know. Maybe that was a testament to her mood or how much love that he was receiving there. But it was it meant a lot to me that she was like, "Oh yes, he used to talk about you."
Yeah,
great. That meant something to me. I was like, "Okay, great." I think Lucas meant as much to me as I meant to him.
I was just ready to say, and that's great. So
that was good.
Lucas, this one's for you, buddy. We're gonna probably say stuff that's rude and crude. So
we're gonna get real nasty.
Let's
after
do
this.
it.
But Lucas, we love you.
Love you, buddy.
Wherever you are, man. I hope to see you again someday, brother.
Ladies and gentlemen, the captains have turned on the fasten seatbelt sign.
Well, I guess one last thing is I can't give a speech, I don't think, without crying.
No, but yeah, no.
I did. I was one of the best men. My brother Ryan had such an untraditional wedding. It was one of the best wedding experiences I've ever had. The ceremony from start to finish, no joke, probably less than 7 minutes.
Wow.
It was outside and
Get her done.
And then it was like, I do, smooch. Let's fucking party.
Right.
Let us fucking party. And it was nice. They wore suits, beautiful dresses. It was outdoor on a lake, and we had a great time. But I gave a speech, and I choke up.
Sure.
Like, I can sit here all day and talk about, men's delicious assholes and their beautiful glistening balls, and that's fine. But when we're talking about
real feelings,
serious stuff, I choke up, and I definitely did at the visitation, and I did with my brother. So I can't give her. I don't know what it is.
You're vested. You're vested.
Well, I would like to be able to deliver something, articulate properly to the point where I can get it out without, sounding like a woman.
Well, I know it. When I give the best man speech at your wedding, I'll barely get through it. I'll cry like a baby. And I would hope
they'd be like, "What are you doing, Jason? I looked up to you. You're the bachelor. You're the guy. You fucked up." And then that's reason enough to cry.
Yeah. I was like, and you got Bud Light on tap instead of Miller Lite.
Oh, I fucked up again.
No, but no, it's a testament to caring and having feelings.
It's the only time I feel like a human being.
Is when you give a speech.
Right. So book me today. Won't you contact us at Couch Pilots Podcast
for all your corporate events?
Oh yeah, if you want a grown
What's your
man,
focus? What's your speech focus at corporate events?
Vertical integration. Today we discuss the pilot episode of Spectre from the year of our Lord 1977. Great year.
1977. I was 2 years old. I had already been through heart surgery. I had already been through palate surgery to cover up a hole in the roof of my mouth.
Mm-hmm. There's a hole in my mouth, dear Blake, dear Blake.
Milk comes out my nose when I eat it.
Then or no?
No.
It's fixed?
That's fixed. No,
yeah, we did talk to your mom
a
while back about how she, the doctor and his chopped up hands from the war or something, how he fixed you.
He only had 3 fingers.
Yeah. But I think it was to his benefit. There's probably a huge scope of needing 3-fingered doctors to
for
really
babies.
or whoever, like Bernadette Peters, like we've talked about, ladies with small mouths, small openings.
Sure. So I was 2 years old. So you were -4.
Yep, right in that sweet spot of where you existed, and I was up there in heaven saying,
"I can't wait to meet Blake."
Jesus, what can I go down and meet Blake? Oh, my best friend. When can I go see my mom?
Will you please have your mommy say yes to Daddy on a drunken night when he wanted to have sex?
Yeah.
And then
did my mom tell you about that?
And then also, whoosh, like a wave pool. You were like, yes.
Yep.
You swam as hard as you could. You were like, I'm swimming it as hard as I could, and then you hit your mom's vagina, and it was smooth sailing from there.
Yep.
You didn't even have to find the egg. You probably just floated to the egg.
You're the only person to ever say smooth sailing in your mom's vagina in the same sentence, I think. Let's go back to 1977. In our minds. And we do that so we can properly understand, digest, and regurgitate our thoughts and feelings of the pilot today, Spectre, based on the time in which it was created.
Right, because you cannot judge a made-for-TV movie in 1977. You can't judge it on today's standards.
Yeah.
2021.
Yeah,
I mean, what did we not have in 1977?
So many things that I can't even belt them out. What are there? What are some things that we have now we didn't back then?
Animation, cartoon animation.
Love animation.
Right? We didn't have Ted Cruz.
That's true. We didn't have them.
No, we didn't have him falling asleep.
Oh. What are they going to say? Enough is enough.
They won't.
Guy?
They won't.
It's Texas, right?
They're right. They're like,
what is Texas doing?
Look, yeah, he was tired. He's got the right as an American to fall asleep.
I know Texas is a red state, but there's some really cool shit happening in Texas, and why can't they get it together enough to say, "Oh yeah, fuck this guy"?
And we didn't have Band-Aids. And,
I use Band-Aids all the time.
Yeah, but you couldn't back then. When you were -4, you couldn't use a Band-Aid.
First of all, I was in heaven.
If you cut your knee, if you cut your knee on the street,
That was a death sentence.
it was, yeah,
It was like breaking a leg at a horse on a track.
you would have bled out.
Someone comes to the corner and they try to position you over a drain and they put a bullet in your head so everything just drains
Yep,
down there. And then once
exactly.
you're done leaking, they drag your body away. But without Band-Aids, any minor injury is a death sentence.
So think about that. How can you judge the pilot from 1977 based on today's standard? You can't. So you have to go back there.
I'm going to go as far as to say the good people at Band-Aid are responsible for the population explosion this world has experienced.
That's true.
Since saving all those lives.
Because back then there was a lot of real estate you could buy because there wasn't a lot of people. You didn't have to stand in line. You didn't have to be in drive-through lines.
Right.
Maybe 3 minutes at the most.
That's it.
But because of Band-Aids,
so many people, so little Chick-fil-A's.
yeah.
Well, some of the things that happen.
Don't put a pickle on your fucking sandwiches. Don't put it on the top. If somebody says I would like a chicken sandwich plain, don't put a fucking pickle on top of the bun.
Mm-hmm.
You and Culver's. Fuck you guys.
Well, I gotta say, if they screw up at Chick-fil-A, they hire gymnasts there to bend over backwards and apologize. They're the nicest brainwashed children I've ever come in contact with. I bet the kids at Waco, at the Branch Davidians,
Sure.
I bet they were very polite, but they got nothing on the good folks at Chick-fil-A.
Yeah, you got to give them props for that.
May 4th of that year, the United States Conference of Catholic Bishops ruled that divorced Catholics, including those who remarried outside the church, are no longer automatically excommunicated and can still attend Mass, but if they remarry without obtaining a church annulment, can't receive Holy Communion and confession.
Yeah, so basically, a lot of people that were married and didn't like each other stayed married together because of this rule, because they wanted to stay good Christians, and basically, a lot of women got beat up.
This is a great. First of all, I think you're totally right on everything you just said.
Wait, I'm gonna write down a
Yeah,
timestamp.
yeah.
It's never happened.
Put that right there.
31, baby.
Can't do it.
Second of all, I will say that this is a great example of the church being like, "Hey, we can't put a gold edition onto our church. Where's all the money?" It's like, you excommunicated all those people for getting divorced. Like, we got to fucking change the rules.
Right.
In Revelations where it says you can't change anything in the Bible, we'll just change a little bit of stuff.
Right. Yeah, for sure.
So it's all about money and control. Fuck that, man.
Yeah.
Fuck that. If you're a good person, you believe in God, and you think there's a heaven, you're gonna go there. Then you're
and
gonna
your wife's a
fucking go
bitch,
there.
then just fucking get
Yeah,
divorced.
fuck that bitch, man. May 17th, Chucky Cheese Pizza Time Theater first opens in San Jose, California.
I liked Chucky Cheese. The food was horrible.
It's still around?
Yeah, no, well, not here in Peoria.
That closed?
It gone. Even the marquee is gone.
Oh my god. This is news to me.
Oh jeez. Because I venture over. I venture over to Peoria quite a bit.
What?
Not.
No, I was just saying, no, you don't.
No, I don't. Yeah, I saw it the other day.
Your bubble is slightly bigger than Big E's.
She gone.
Wow.
But
man alive.
as a child, I was mesmerized by these animals up there singing to me and all these fun games. And then we went there for Dustin's wife's golden birthday. And as an adult, I was like, oh, this is such a pathetic place. It's dirty. It just, you can see how this was before COVID. You were like, this is some dirty shit. And then
Chuck E. Cheese is a very dirty
it's
place.
and you get a pizza and you're just like, this is fucking rubber.
Chuck E. Cheese is the place where my pizza theory first originated, where I said, if you're eating a bad pizza, someone intentionally made a bad pizza. Chuck E. Cheese is where that originated, because I went there when my daughter was small, and I had a pizza. I was like, this is the worst thing I've ever tasted.
Right.
This is fucking garbage.
You're not putting any effort into it at all.
Bread, salty tomato sauce, cheese. What's bad about that? You can't screw that up. They screwed it up.
Right.
It's terrible.
That's why they've gone under. But what did they do with the bots? I want to know what they did with the bots.
Oh, man, they're turning them into fuck bots. You know that?
A big old black gorilla.
Yeah. Oh,
He was the piano player.
No, that was Showtime, or that was Showbiz Pizza, wasn't it? Did they have wasn't Munch the guy, like a big purple monster looking dude?
Okay, yeah.
I remember that dog with the big floppy ears and the cowboy hat. Remember how he used to strum his banjo? You could turn that into a fuck bot easy,
For
man.
sure.
Go home, instead of being scared in your bed, your wife's gonna catch you. Just roll over and have that dog jerk you off.
Nothing like a dog jerking me off.
Yeah, they. I remember going to Chuck E. Cheese and they would have not parodies, but they would play like Jewish music there sometimes. Like they wanted to celebrate all kids.
Sure.
And they had like, I think they did like the dreidel song there, but it was like the Chucky Cheese band version of it.
Right.
I didn't know it was gone. I seriously feel like we're in end times, and people will be like, religion, this is all pointing to the end of days. I think things like this,
Sure,
completely unrelated to religion. Like
the apocalypse started with Chuck E. Cheese shutting down.
I would say it started with Toys R Us shutting down.
Well, yeah.
And then Chuck E. Cheese. But I feel so lucky though that not only that I experienced it, but I would take my daughter to Toys R Us. Sometimes we just go to Toys R Us to walk around.
Sure.
Hey, I'll kill a half hour. The kid can look at a bunch of great shit.
Right.
Chuck E. Cheese, we'd go there and spend $20.
And then she would leave crying because she would like, oh, I want to get this, and you're like, I'm financially unstable.
I'm in shambles financially, and you're not getting a thing. Here's the quarter machine. How hard can you twist? Right. But yeah, so I'm glad that I got to experience Chuck E. Cheese and that my daughter did. I didn't realize they were gone. That's going to change. I know we talked about a friend dying at the top of the show. This is really going to fuck me up, the Chuck E. Cheese.
Right, you're going to lose sleep over this one.
May 27th of that year, Space Mountain opens at Disneyland, and to this day remains one of the park's most popular attractions. You ever been on Space Mountain?
Hell no, I've never been to Disney, either one of them.
You want to go?
No.
Do you?
No.
Do you want to go with me?
No,
that's what I'm asking.
My niece works there, and I could probably get in for free, and I still have no desire whatsoever to go. To me, that seems the most atrocious time ever for me. Too many people. Roller coasters that I wouldn't get on, and on the hot sun, gazillion people and prices. I know that I would just be bitching the whole time. Like Molly would be like, "Oh, I want this cute set of, Minnie Mouse ears," and I'd be like, $38. You can go fuck yourself.
Yeah, it's 27 cents in plastic, and they're going to charge you like $19.99.
Yeah,
I just like what?
That's overload for me. That's overload.
About a year and a half ago, I went to Universal Studios. Mm-hmm. And Dagwood from the comics?
Yeah.
They have this whole part of the park, one of the parks, it's like all comics, like old Sunday morning comics and stuff. It's weird. It's a weird part. But I went there and they had a Dagwood, because, Dagwood always like huge sandwiches.
Right.
And so I got a Dagwood sandwich. It was like, it's probably like $20.
Yeah, 43 pieces of bread.
Guess what? Not that good.
No. Not for sure.
They rake you over the coals, but Disneyland.
At least Chuck E. Cheese would serve you beer. At least Chuck E. Cheese serves you beer.
That's the best thing they got right. Prize redemption, sure. A 1981 Star Wars arcade machine, sure. But when you're talking about kids running and screaming, "God damn it, you need a beer!"
Sure.
And they said, "Yes, we will do that for
Thank
you."
you.
And thank you, sir. Oh man, I'm sorry. With that, I am safely and securely back in 1977. Do you know why we chose to watch Spectre?
Yeah, there was 3 simple criteria. It was a pilot that never went to series. Whether it aired or not is irrelevant. Number 2 is we had to be able to find it on the interwebs. Woo! And number 3, baby, it had to be free.
Awesome!
All right, Ms., that was a little late, but thank you.
I accidentally pressed the time. Well, thank you very much, Blake. You can find the entire episode of Spectre by subscribing to Couch Pilots and SoundCloud, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or your favorite podcast app of choice, and then simply click on one of our classically blue links in our show notes. Or go to YouTube, Blake.
You know what to do, Tube.
Flight attendants?
Into the sky, as close to heaven as I'm going to get. Summary of the pilot. Renowned criminologist and occult investigator William Sebastian recruits his old friend Dr. Hamilton, otherwise known as Ham, to assist in his current case, but the matter is complicated by Sebastian's debilitating heart condition, which was induced by his own experimentations with the black arts. I would normally ask Blake to rate it, but I think he's taken a monster piss. When he pees, I can hear it. I know it's in the back of the plane, but I can hear him peeing. It sounds like if you turn a hose up all the way. It's just a lot of. I'm imagining a lot of spattering against the porcelain. Not a steady stream. Not like a golden rope, but just like you snip the end of a full water balloon and it just all comes out at once. That's how I picture Blake peeing.
Oh, we're talking about. I'm sorry.
Oh, you're back.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, no problem.
I should probably start peeing before we start.
Well, I think you start peeing before interesting facts.
Ladies and gentlemen, I forgot that was part of my Part of my shtick. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Interesting Facts. This is the part of the show where Jason has scoured the internet while looking at squirrels out his window, trying to find facts about this pilot that you probably don't know. The basic rule is that you don't taint someone else's experience by giving your opinions about these facts. Keep your fucking mouth shut and just check it out.
You don't know what hard times are, Daddy.
Hard times.
Interesting facts. Spectre is a 1977 British made-for-television horror film produced by Gene Roddenberry. Gene Roddenberry, of course, best known for having created Star Trek. Spectre was co-written by Roddenberry and Samuel A. Peoples and directed by Clive Donner. Fact. Spectre is one of several unsuccessful pilots created by Roddenberry and one of several pilots in the 1970s in the occult detective subgenre. Fact.
I have something I was going to say, but I can't do it.
Well, do it afterwards.
Can't do it.
You can't do it. Well, it rung a bell with you, seemingly. It activated something in your head.
Well, how could you tell?
Because you sat up and act like you care. Like I saw just a spark of enjoyment in your eyes, I guess, for the first time in, four and a half years?
Yeah, it's been a while.
Lilith, the mysterious housekeeper for Sebastian, was played by Mahel Barrett, wife of Gene Roddenberry, executive producer and writer of this movie. Fact.
You just put her name on there just to make her happy.
Hell yeah.
Little gold.
Oh, mercy. Gene Roddenberry and fucking Chucky Cheese robot. The relationship between Sebastian and Ham, Dr. Hamilton, is deliberately reminiscent of that of Sherlock Holmes and Dr. Watson, although there are some aspects that recall the relationship between Roddenberry's own Spock and Leonard McCoy. I don't know, Dr. McCoy, I guess. I don't know.
Okay.
Roddenberry previously revisited this relationship in an earlier failed pilot, The Questor Tapes, and we'll probably watch that. You got an hour and a half? You got an hour and 40 minutes?
I make time for this. I do a lot of work on this show.
I know you do.
I make a lot of time for this.
After its rejection by American television, extended version of Spectre was released in the UK as a theatrical film with additional footage that includes nudity. The version currently in television syndication is a heavily edited version of the UK theatrical release, which retains some of its less explicit nudity in the Black Mass finale. We saw the unedited version.
We saw the
fact.
Yes, we saw. Thank you, by the way, for finding that one. Because to be honest with you, a little foreshadowing, it was rough until I saw Tatas, and I saw Tatas for like 10 minutes.
Little booby bump there, huh?
Oh, yeah.
John Cameron was selected as the composer for this film's musical score. Cameron is a British composer, arranger, conductor, and musician. He's well known for his many film, TV, and stage credits and for his contributions to pop recordings, notably those by Donovan, Cilla Black, and the group Hot Chocolate. Fact.
Hot chocolate.
Got two more facts.
The
last one
is going to blow my mind. Okay, so I should sit up and pay attention?
Well, just get that little spark of enjoyment in your eye. A novelization of the movie was written by Robert Wawerka and published by Bantam Books in 1979. The Spectre novelization is 154 pages long and adds significant background information not presented in the script. Fact. Wake up. Wake up for the last fact.
Okay.
You gotta wake up for facts. Finally, stars Gig Young as Dr. Hamilton, who was noticeably drunk throughout the production and frequently slurred his lines. This would be written into his character. Gig would go on at the age of 64 to shoot his 31-year-old actress wife Kim Schmidt and then himself. They met on this project.
Holy shit. That's probably like the best fact you've ever given us. That is awesome. Not that he shot his wife. It was awesome that his wife was probably almost half his age, and then he drank a lot. Those two things, perfectly cool.
Unbelievable. Right?
So unbelievable. Oi.
Oh, mercy. Okay, yeah, I guess Twitter responses then.
Welcome.
Ladies and gentlemen, sit back and relax, because we got some Twitter responses.
Pull your pants down.
Yeah, get a sock out. Touch yourself. And understand that we probably didn't get any Twitter responses because these people are all probably dead. Actually, I know of 2 people that are dead. But proceed.
Because this is one of the facts.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Vicky Michelle, who I didn't even bother to see who she was in it because all she did was like to tweet, so whatever. But I did get a response back. What?
You did?
Well, I got an email response. This response came from a guy at Glass Tower Productions. A guy goes by the name of Rich DePiro. Now, this wasn't for Spectre. This was a late response. But it says, "Hi, Jason. Thanks for reaching out to say hi. You were going to watch the Match Game reboot as part of your TV Shows Ahead Only One Episode podcast. Are you speaking of the 2008 pilots hosted by Andy Daly? Those were super fun shows, but they were pilots for a possible comeback that never happened, so technically there are 0 episodes to air. Also, I think there were 2 episodes shot that day. In any event, I'm not sure I even have a copy of these episodes. They're so much fun and have been picked up. Can you forward me a copy of it? Thanks, Rich DePiro." So the guy who was the director of it is asking me, Johnny Nobody, for a link, and I provided it to him. I responded to him.
Did you say it's on the internet and it's free?
I gave him. I sent the link that we watched, and I just said, I really enjoyed it. It was a fun watch, and Andy Daly was a master, and a lot of great celebrities you had on that show. I haven't heard back from him. I don't expect to hear back from him.
No,
but that's fine.
Yeah, it's something.
I know.
But nobody from Spectre.
Just one like.
Spectre.
They liked it. And, I'm so nervous now because that episode from last week with Adam Z, the first episode was supposed to be a show called The Wonder Cabinet, but it disappeared off the internet after a guy from The Wonder Cabinet liked and only liked my tweet, that I'm just paranoid now. Yeah. That if someone responds, they have sinister intentions.
So I don't want anyone to watch this, mostly 2 guys from Central Illinois.
Oh, well, what are you going to do? This is an hour and 37 minutes. It's a very long pilot, but obviously pilots from the 70s and 80s, we've done plenty of those that have been this long and were quote-unquote backdoor pilots for a proposed series. Spectre is that.
Right. And I think that this would be a good time to kind of, usually we go through the pilot beat by beat, right?
Yeah.
But I think this is very unnecessary to go beat by beat.
Did you watch this?
Oh, no, I watched the whole fucking thing.
Okay.
Believe me, I watched the whole thing.
All right. Whoa.
But I'm just saying.
Put your fist down.
I'm just saying that it's going to lull people to sleep listening to us talk about beat by beat.
Well, my plan was to go beat by beat and then talk in a very slow and monotone sound like this. I was going to read every detail that I could possibly remember.
And that's why last month's download totals were the least in the last 8 months.
Okay, so wait, are you saying I should do the thing I planned? No, do the opposite.
Yeah, for sure.
All right.
So, okay, look, can we kind of set the stage on? And you made a comment earlier about how, again, in the 70s there was a lot of supernatural cop.
Yeah, in the Twitter, not the Twitter, but the interesting facts portion, there was kind of a fascination with the occult. Even bands got into the action. Like, notoriously, Led Zeppelin was into the occult, and there would be secret messages in their albums. There was a fascination with Beelzebub back then, and people were taking advantage of that in media.
So, basically, there's this really eccentric guy, and his name is Sebastian.
William Sebastian.
Right. And it's one of those shows where, like, okay, there's a little bit of narration at the beginning.
Yes.
By Ham. I think it was by Ham.
I think you're right. Yes.
Yeah. And but so Sebastian calls for Ham. They used to be friends. They're not anymore, and they go and talk to each other.
They had studied together.
Sure.
They were criminologists or something.
Right.
Ham, I believe, was a British fella.
Ham.
And then the other guy, who's John Hurt. We didn't even mention John Hurt, very famous actor.
Sure.
I think he was playing an English or an American guy here, but John Hurt might have been English. He just died a few years ago, but a legendary British actor.
Sure.
Right.
So he says, "Yeah, I need your help. We want to go to we got to go to London because there's lady contacted me and she thinks that her brothers are they're taken over by the devil."
Right, possessed by the demon.
And they're talking about this, and very quickly, the first succubus comes into the house.
But we don't know that as the viewers. A woman comes in and she says, "My name is Anitra Scion. I'm the one who contacted you, Will Sebastian."
I came from London here instead of you coming to London to see me.
Well, she came basically to try to stop him.
Yeah.
She said, I hired you for this thing, but I don't want you to do this thing. I want you to be quick. And then he said, and then Dr. Ham is like, he doesn't believe in this occult shit. He doesn't believe in magic. And spoiler alert, it is real in the universe of this movie.
For sure.
The magic and demons and specters, that shit is real in this universe.
And Sebastian has a lot of, he's done a lot of, studying about this.
For sure.
He's really into it.
Ham is not into it.
He's all about drinking because they even talk about his drinking problem at the beginning of this show.
They didn't have to add that in there where they gave him something so he didn't want to drink anymore. He had the woman who is Will's maid is
Gene Roddenberry's wife,
right? And she's like kind of an enchantress, a witch herself, kind of coming up with potions and shit. And she makes it so Ham gets sick whenever he drinks alcohol because he clearly has a problem.
Well, and just randomly he comes into this house. He's never met this way, He's putting his stuff down, and she just comes up behind him and clips a little piece of his hair. He knows that she just did that, and he just seems to be not bothered by it at all.
Yeah, she got some really cool vintage peacock scissors. Those are really cool. And you're right, I forgot about that. It's in my notes, but I forgot about it. And I guess she used his hair to maybe make the potion, or he didn't want to drink anymore. I don't know.
But it set the precedence for me in the fact that
some voodoo shit
stuff happens on this, and people react the complete opposite of how I would react. Everybody is nonchalant.
You'd be pissed. Well, what are you doing? I want answers right now. And he's like, oh, well, maybe he's too drunk.
I got to go get some more scotch.
I was going to say, maybe he's too drunk to really give a shit. Anyway, this lady comes over. She says, I don't want you coming to London. I hired you for this thing. I don't need you anymore. And he's like, let me go talk to you in this other room. And they start getting it on.
Sure.
In there.
Yeah. And he's like, she's very seductive. Mm-hmm. And I was like, oh, all right, finally, pilot.
You're bored to tears 7.5 minutes in.
Yeah.
And he walks over just nonchalantly. He's like, hold on before you suck my dick.
Oh, my God.
And he gets this book, and he's opens it up, and he's just looking at it. And then he slaps it against her breast. And then she basically catches on fire without flames.
Yeah, she kind of
sizzles
and melts.
Away.
And it turns out later, this Ham comes and is like, what the fuck is going on? And he's like, let's get out of here. So this Ham goes, and then he closes it behind Ham, and this lady melts. And he later says, hey, there's some demons that are coming after me. And that was a succubus. And they were trying to do some lust. They were trying to get me through lust.
That's the easiest way to get a guy.
Oh, to get me in a heartbeat. And then they let's get on a plane and go to London. And on the plane, they start having a bunch of problems on the plane. He's like, this is a demon. He's trying to get me again, and through fear this time.
Right. And what I did notice during this flight is there is some stock footage of an airplane that is not the same paint job as the airplane they got into.
Oh my God, that's so funny you mentioned that. That's in. I didn't include that, but that's on IMDb under the goofs.
Okay,
that is in there. Wow, you noticed.
See, I was awake. I was still awake at this point.
Yeah, that's right. I will say too. Earlier, William was like, didn't he say my heart is in a doll? We find out later that he's kind of...
Oh, he has some kind of sore or something.
He's got a weird wound on him that healed weird. It looks basically like if you just dumped a bottle of glue on his gut.
Right.
But it's like a scar, and he said... we later find out it's kind of like a voodoo doll situation with him.
Right. Yeah, that was odd. And already you're getting a lot of information that you would probably need a backstory for that information. But you don't. You just jumped in. And just like in the 70s for these made-for-TV movies, things just drag along real slow. There's a lot of detail. Well, you know what? To be honest with you, it's not a lot of detail. There's just stuff happening that is pretty much just unnecessary.
Seeing cars drive on a little too long, and just you could probably cut 30 seconds here, a minute and a half there.
So they fly on this private plane, and Ham is still not convinced that there's anything paranormal or anything. He doesn't believe in it.
Yeah, up to this point, if I was him, if I didn't see that lady actually melt and I just heard some screams.
No, but you would, because you were on the other side of the door and you heard a lady screaming and sizzling, and I wouldn't let you in. You know I'm not cooking her, right? So what else could it be?
I guess. Very bizarre. They land...
How bizarre?
Pretty bizarre. They get in a vehicle. They have a lady driver. They call her very sensual, but she doesn't really come into play much. But she is their driver, and
she's not sensual. She's not attractive at all.
Well, I think she's sensual in the fact that she's being kind of sexual with them. There's a lot of light overtones of sexuality,
Okay.
and then later very heavy ones. But we're apparently we're in London, and she says, "You know what? Take us to Merlin's Mews number 3," and it's a place where apparently Will knows a guy there. But as soon as they arrive, they see that the place is on fire. There's a big pentagram on the floor. His friend is dead, and it's like a library. It's a library of all this occult shit. And both him and Ham get in there, and they're like, get in the middle of this pentagram, and they hear something weird.
Yeah.
And then you see a monster.
Yeah.
You see a monster.
Yeah, for sure.
And then all the police come, the firemen, and the scares the monster away.
Right, for sure.
Holy God, I didn't expect to see a monster, did you?
No, a demon maybe, but not like a monster. Like this is like a big wolf.
A big wolf.
You ever
that's
seen a
right.
big wolf?
I've seen a big wolf.
Oh,
it's like a werewolf.
They say it's
beast.
not real.
Oh,
a big wolf,
I saw it. I saw it. It is real. So then they meet this. They talk to an inspector, and apparently Will knows that guy. And that guy's kind of like, I think you guys are up to some shit. I don't know. I want to keep an eye on you. And they go over to the Scion house, right? Anitra, who is the succubus, who disguised herself as Anitra and who died,
Right.
she exists, and she's part of this very affluent family that lives in the English countryside, and they go to this big estate.
Right. It's her and her two brothers that live in this huge estate.
Mitri and Jeffrey. And Jeffrey's kind of the guy who's in charge.
Right.
He's the tall guy. He's in charge of the business. He handles all the financial stuff. Smart guy.
He kind of looks like the guy Kramer from Seinfeld.
You think he looks like Michael Richards?
Yeah. And also, just to let everybody know, if you've never heard the word succubus before, it's describing a female demon. But you will here's a good drinking game.
I've dated some of those.
Here's a good drinking game. Watch this pilot because there's no other reason to. Watch this pilot, and every time they say succubus, take a shot.
Ooh, a shot.
And let's see if you get through it. You won't. You won't get
you're
through.
you're trying to kill our last remaining listeners.
Yeah.
We already had one die. Now we're gonna have a bunch here. Right. Good Lord. Well, they enter the Scion house, and there's a lot of erotic art. And Will's injury kind of acts up, but then he sees this glass case, and he breaks it, and we don't know why.
He comes over to London, these people's house. He doesn't even know. He's waiting for them to come and greet him,
just like Eli would if you
right. And he just takes his elbow and he bashes the glass on this thing.
Yeah.
And he picks it up. He's like, "Oh, that's me. That's where my heart is."
Well, he thought it was. There's this little case, and then we're like, "What is if I can?" It was empty, and he's like,
And
"Damn
nobody.
it."
And again, just like earlier with the whole haircut thing, the people that own this house walk in, see that it's broken.
They're like, "Hey,
and
what the fuck are you doing?" But they don't talk like
no,
that. They're like,
they
"Huh,
just
all
they're
right."
like, well, whatever.
Well, they kind of dismiss them. They say we're have dinner, so that they all have dinner, and then there's a lot of maids and kind of these
satin,
these wispy little nightgowns,
Yeah.
and they're all hot little numbers.
Yeah,
these-
just
these
think
brides.
about like Studio 54.
Oh, yeah.
In the 70s, and just imagine Olivia Newton-John wearing this. This is silky.
I would love to get physical.
Nothing fancy, just one silky onesie.
But all these hot young ladies,
yeah,
just kind of serving everyone. You know that Jeffrey Science fucking those. So they have dinner, and Will's drink is full of glass for some reason, and he says some Latin shit, and it's almost like a spell that he says because all the other booze glasses break, and then they explain it quickly by saying there's some sonic waves that control the gate, and that's what broke the glasses, not the thing Will just said after having had glass in his drink.
Right, and again, nobody when three people's wine glasses bust.
Let's react.
Nobody reacts at all. They're like, "Oh, that happened."
Anitra says to Will, "I think my brother is possessed," and he's not sure yet. He thinks something's going on, but he's not sure. And then Ham is laying it on Anitra. He's like, I don't know.
He's like, I'll fuck after 4 scotches. I'll fuck shit, old lady.
And then I'll shoot you in the head.
I'll shoot you, you bitch.
So Mitri, then he's the other Scion brother. He takes.
Was that the one he married?
What's that?
Did she play that role?
I don't know which girl it was.
I think he was probably one of the.
I think she had a very minor role.
She was probably one of the maids, or
maybe a very minor role. But Mitri takes them into their quarters, and Ham almost falls off the balcony. All this kind of weird shit's happening.
Yeah.
And then Ham does some medical stuff to Will because of his injury, and he studies up on some old script that he ripped from the Merlin's Mews.
Right, and then they go to their rooms, and Ham has. My favorite was like, "I hope you don't mind a waterbed." And I was like, I don't think we've ever seen a pilot with a waterbed in
No.
it. And,
I don't want proper flotation.
and
when
I
I'm
said
sleeping.
to myself, because that's how I refer to myself, I was like, they're not going to show this waterbed. Oh, it comes into play.
You know he smacked that bladder, baby.
Oh, you got to burp it. You got when you're filling up a waterbed. You gotta burp it.
You gotta burp that shit. Not unlike your Tupperware. So the script that he's kind of translating is a diary of sorts, and it kind of lays out that the Scion family had excavated ground underneath their estate for like a wine cellar or something, and uncovers some artifacts, and ultimately the possible possession of Jeffrey Scion because it released some sort of ancient thing, and it's marked with an A.
Yeah.
This blood red A. And then let's see. In the middle of the night, this is where it takes a big turn, right?
Yeah, sure.
So in the middle of the night, Ham's sleeping.
Yeah, he wakes up and he rolls over and there's some hot girl in lingerie, and he's like, "What are you doing here?" And she's like, "Oh, well, that's not a way to greet me." And then she starts pushing buttons. There's music. There's whips and chains.
They had a control panel next to the bed. It was awesome.
Yeah, it was great.
And then whips and chains. Yeah.
And then the door opens and a girl, a lady. I'm sorry,
a mistress.
We don't want to Jerry Epstein this, but
a leather-clad mistress walks in,
and a lady that's dressed up as a little girl and calling him daddy.
Yeah, that was.
And
weird.
and I was like, again, I was almost falling asleep, and then I woke up. I was like.
He had a Bobby sock
I was
go
like,
off.
I was like, Bobby sock. And I was like, oh yeah.
So these three like attractive women are in there, and Ham is just like, he probably went from like being dead asleep to like, what? Jesus Christ, am I dreaming?
To all of a sudden, I got a huge mega milk boner, and I got to get this shit going on. And so Sebastian walks in and he's like, oh, Ham's like, oh, I just woke up. This
I don't know what Ham was doing. He wasn't like grabbing on the ladies or anything.
He was ready. I
think he was about ready to bone down.
Yeah.
And he might have. Were these three succubuses? Maybe succubi.
Yeah, succubi. I like
Thank
that
you.
Because they probably would have sex with each other.
Well, they suck and they're bi. They arrive back at Merlin's Muse where the fire took place. And the inspector's waiting for them, and Will gives the inspector the diary that he had translated, and he said the demon in question, his name is Osmondes, and it's the demon of luxury. And then
I didn't know there was demon. Like I know there's like
saints of
yeah, but I didn't know there was like demons of certain things.
I don't know that either.
Who do you think the demon of podcasting is?
I don't think it exists, but it could be you when you die.
I can't wait.
Back at the Scion house, Will and Mitri play the piano and chat. And while Mitri is like playing the piano, he's like saying great things about his brother. His brother is very like robotic and cold. And so when his brother gets in the room and sees that he's talking about it, he like slaps him in the face.
He bitch slaps him like nobody's business.
And then Jeffrey's like, hey, Will Sebastian, I did some research on you. I'd love for you to join my club. You're a very impressive man. And right then you hear like Mitri he's screaming. He was attacked by some Rottweilers they saw earlier out at this Stonehenge place on their property. They call it like a druid circle.
Yeah.
This is when I thought of Chris Tuckley, honestly. I was like, this is set in England, and Chris loves stones.
Yeah, he's a stoner.
He loves old. He's a classic old stoner.
And yeah, and I was like, I thought that too. I was like, he probably knows where this is actually filmed at.
He really might.
He probably might.
I bet you're right. So let's see here.
We cannot do this. We cannot carry this so much further. But anyway, so they start investigating this Stonehenge thing, and they end up going down to the bottom of it. They finally get down into the bottom of this huge thing, and they find the main temple.
Yeah, they get in there and they find a gold seal. They say, hey, this gold seal is broken and unleashed this spirit or this demon, and it's causing this trouble. And
there's a lot of fire.
Yeah.
A lot of fire in a unventilated underground place. And I'm like, that doesn't make sense.
Doesn't make sense. And you know what? It's all ghosts and supernatural shit. It's not supposed to make sense. They come out of there, and there's some other shit happens, but then eventually they go back down there. And let's talk about this final scene, and we'll wash our hands.
I've just been wanting to get to this.
Okay, yeah. Well, if you've been waiting, so please lead us through the final scene.
Okay, so they end up finding the second part of the seal. So they have the two parts of the seal, which is supposed to protect them from, right? Mm-hmm. So they're going down here, and they're hiding. They're looking around, and also they hear
bunch of robed folks chanting.
bunch of robe folks. There's red robed folks and there's black robed folks.
Mainly red for ladies.
Yes, and black for African Americans.
Well, no, but just with men.
Sure.
I don't think there was one black guy in this movie.
I don't think so either. Now that you mentioned it, so they're going to have a ceremony, and they bring they end up bringing the sister down. What's her name again?
Anitra.
And
at this point, they have figured out, hey, Jeffrey's a weird guy. He seems to be in charge, but it's Mitri. Because they find they find the actual brother. They find his corpse down there, and they're like, so if he's dead, then that must mean the person that we're interacting with is some sort of demon impersonating him. Right. So Mitri, the kind of smaller, more timid brother, he's the one in charge.
Right. And this becomes like a fucking acid trip. You hear a lot of like screaming laughs and stuff, and everybody's going around, and then you see midgets.
Oh, out come the tits.
And then, all these red outfits have big slits in the middle of them, and it's like everybody is getting ready to fuck because...
Oh, it's an orgy, man.
The brother has to fuck his sister so he can take over, like...
Oh, really? Is that what he had to do?
Well,
I thought he was going to kill her.
Well, no. He first had to have sex. The first stop was to have sex with her, and he's like, no. He gets on top of her. He's like, I can't do this. And then they give him the axe to kill her.
Because he kind of turns into a beast.
Right.
He turns
not a beauty.
No.
There's a lot of beauty. There's a lot of nice looking boobies.
A lot of bathing beauties, but
not a bunch of like saggy boobies. Not a bunch of like big, humongous. Like, there's no way that most girls have these. They're just good boobies.
Classic English breasts.
Chris,
oh no!
Send us some pictures of some classic English
mercy.
breasts.
But Jeffrey turns into a beast. I didn't get that he was supposed to have sex with her.
No, because
I believe you.
He got on top. He got on top of her. He couldn't do it. He couldn't fuck his own sister.
And then he got an axe out like he's going to kill. But then he says, "No, I can't do it." And then Will and Ham are down there witnessing this whole thing, hiding. But Mitri knows they're there.
Yeah,
so he says, "Will, I want you part of this."
Yeah, come out here, buddy.
And so he puts a robe on him. Will agrees. Will's about ready to kill the lady, and then he has like. Before they went down there, like, we need to gear up with some shit. And one of the things was like holy water or baptism water.
Right, and then a little like ball of gold or something.
Yeah, he took the
a bullet.
He made a bullet. He made out of gold, and then he had like the water or whatever, the holy water, and he threw it on the demon. And when that happens, everything goes nuts.
Yeah,
people screaming. The midgets are there doing backflips.
Yeah,
it's
there's fire, and all of a sudden he becomes a lizard.
Yes,
like
he becomes
like a cardboard lizard. It was really. And so then he shoots him, and all these horrors that are in red freaking out. The midgets are jumping around freaking out, and so the other brothers that refused to have sex with his sister, he kind of goes, "Hey, we got to get her out of here. We got to get her out of here." And they realize, he's the good dude. So and so. But there is just boobs flashing this whole time. This is like 15 minutes. I think this is like 15 minutes. Like the last 15 minutes of the show.
It's the last part of the movie for sure. So they seem to get out of there. I don't really know what happened. I assume the demon was defeated, or at least the seal was put back together to keep the demon down there. A lot of other human beings. I think they were humans. I don't know if maybe they were demon succubuses. I don't know.
Was it the cop also was a...
Oh, was the cop down there too in the road?
Yeah, he was like,
nobody's above the law.
Maybe that was him. Yeah, I didn't. Okay, if that was him, I know the guy you're talking about.
They pointed him out. Yeah, they pointed it out.
So I don't know who died down there. I assume most of them.
And I don't know. And also, we forgot to talk about this, but right before we went to this scene, there was a big, huge orgy going on at this house too.
Oh yeah, they were having some big sex party.
Oh yeah,
yeah, they were. So next scene, they're back at Will's house.
Chris Tuckley, where's this house at?
Yeah, no shit. He knows.
He does.
Back at Will's house, we see some newspaper headlines about the aftermath of the Scion Place and the Druid Circle collapse, tunnel, whatever. And this time, the real Anitra shows up and gives Will a similar painting to the one that he liked at the Scion house when him and Ham first arrived. And Ham takes Anitra into the other room, presumably to get blown.
Yeah.
Presumably.
And Sebastian's like little comment to his house lady is like, we're gonna find out if she's a succubus, and if you can make it to that shot, good on you.
Well, Will examines the painting she gave him, and the wind starts to blow, and the fireplace erupts, and the mark of that demon is on that painting.
Adrian Peterson.
The end. Peterson.
As we start our descent,
Used to beat his kid.
remember
Remember that?
NFL,
Used to beat his kid.
MLB, NHL,
NCAA.
NBA, NAACP. The Spectre, known. People have seen this show, but it didn't work as a pilot. Why don't you think Spectre worked?
In the set, like I said, we've watched some of these before, like in this time period, and it's dry and slow, and like it doesn't give you like backstory that you need to know. It's just backstory to kind of keep you going. You know what I mean?
Do you like the characters?
No, I didn't like, except the girls with the titties out. You know,
Do you think they could have made a show just about the titties?
if they could have made a show about the last 15 minutes of this, they could have made it 45 minutes, and I would have still watched it. When you see midgets and titties,
Oh, that's the 1-2 knockout, baby.
Bang bang.
Where would this go if it survived?
Well, they set it up to where, you know, they're gonna kind of the Sherlock Holmes thing. They're gonna go fight supernatural stuff.
We've seen this a million times, right?
They don't say did we defeat this one? We don't know. Obviously not because of the painting, but so they're just gonna keep going around all over the world probably, and
Just have supernatural adventures,
and
a la X-Files, a la whatever, you know,
obnobbed.
a la Jublaha.
It was just meaningless. Like there was so much of this that could be cut out, and I would still have been able to follow what's going on.
I think you're right. Yeah.
How about you? It's not all about me.
Well, largely it is. To improve it, I know you touched on it, but this is to me. Just make this 45 minutes.
Yeah.
I think John Hurt was good. I liked Ham. Ham. It's tough. Beyond the show Blue Bloods on CBS with a very aged Tom Selleck, you're not seeing a lot of old folks on TV. TV is filled with people from 20 to 45. The end.
Yep.
You know, occasionally you get a Golden Girls or with the same star, a Hot in Cleveland, and these bitches are in their 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s.
Right.
But you don't see a lot of shows like that. I kind of liked it. I kind of liked that these were slightly older guys taking care of business. Right? TICB.
Yep.
TCOB.
Taking
World's best yogurt.
care of would be TKOB.
I think it's the country TCBY, the country's best yogurt.
UNICY.
If this survives, I mean, we've seen this a million times, right? It's on to the next adventure. Does this monster or demon pop up somewhere else? Maybe.
Yeah, eventually, but it's gonna. What was the one that the guy that the reporter guy had all those tapes? Remember?
Well, we mentioned a failed Gene Roddenberry project called the Questor Tapes, but that's not that one.
No, but
it's something else. It's called the Norliss Tapes.
Yeah, but to me, it was the same thing. There was a lot of like unnecessary narrative until we got to the end. You know what I mean?
Of the Norliss Tapes?
Yeah.
Yeah, the thing about that, which I thought was cool, was the actual tapes. Is like, you're this guy following this, what happened to this other man, trying to unlock the mystery, and we only saw one episode of that there. And here, I feel like we got some resolution. There's a lot of room to play when it comes to the supernatural. So I think there is something here, but it was way too long.
Yeah.
It's about 45 minutes too long for this guy.
Bing bong.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Bing bang boom.
please make sure your
Whoops.
stacks and tray tables are in their full upright position.
Final descent. I love descending. I don't know about you.
I love descending during the spring and summer. Like this time that we're going in right now, you know, the skies are a lot bluer for a lot longer.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? And just you know, it's been rainy, but it's not snowing. You know, there's no avalanches or anything for us to worry about.
I hate avalanches in the sky.
Avalanches in the sky. That's what we fear. Crashing this thing, and the pilot's streaking up here. Thank you.
So this is the part of the show where we say, yeah, absolutely, Blake and I spent an hour and 37 minutes watching Spectre, but other idiots have done that too, and other idiots have talked about it, rated it, and reviewed it. IMDb, at a scale from 1 to 10 decimal points in play. Blake, how many people do you think rated it? How many people do you think rated it? Not what the score was.
112.
And what do you think the score was?
It had to be like a 3.5.
It's a 6.2.
What?
from 516 ratings. Critic reviews, Gut Munchers Lives from crappymoviereviews.com says, this one might not be for everybody. It does a slow burn before things start to happen. Personally, I like the characters, and Roddenberry has written some killer dialogue to set the scene for what happens later. He also does an amazing job creating the universe where the characters live and do battle. Sadly, we will never get to see any more of it.
The only reason it's a 6.2 is because of titties at the end.
I would say it's a super hot, red hot, boiling hot Venn diagram of titties and people who love Gene Roddenberry and Star Trek.
And people who love supernatural stuff.
John Kenneth Muir from Reflections on Film and Television.blogspot.com, Jesus Christ, says, the best part of Spectre involved character background, Sebastian's, and the character interaction between the two protagonists. There was a jaunty feel to the TV movie, which distinguishes it from any other occult films of the era. If Star Trek had gone supernatural with this joie de vivre, colorful characters, and occasional tongue-in-cheek, we might have gotten a masterpiece here of supernatural series.
There you go.
Viewer reviews. I'm just going to read some headlines because there's a ton of those. 8 out of 10 scars. Why couldn't this have gone to series? 7 out of 10 scars. Atmospheric and creepy. Minor spoilers in his review there. 8 out of 10 scars. Sweet. 9 out of 10 scars. A classic. Hail Gene Roddenberry. Great idea. But
This is just a bunch of Gene Roddenberry fucking nerds jerking off to
it's a
him.
bunch of Chucky Cheese, a dog robot stroking Gene's Roddenberry. Pretty funny. Great idea, but unrealized. 6 out of 10 scars. Wish this had become a series. 6 out of 10 scars. No man is above the law. 8 out of 10 scars. Spectre series. 6 out of 10 scars. An enjoyable mess. Guilty pleasure of the highest order. A remembered favorite.
We wouldn't be able to see those titties if it was on regular television.
Yeah.
So it would have got...
Local time is 11:11.
Well, it almost sounded like from some of the research I had done that the titties were shot later, because it seemed like I had read that, so I knew that going in, and you did not know that going in. You just accepted it for what it was, which I totally get. That's I like the contrast, me
Sure.
knowing a lot and you knowing nothing going in, because we see it different ways.
Sure.
So when I'm watching it, I'm really, and for reasons that are scientific only, really paying attention to these tits. But no, it seemed like it seems like there was a lot of like gratuitous close-up shots of them, where it's like, you know what we got to do, guys? We got to get some shots of tits, right. And so they do it later. It sounded like they did it later so they could appeal to more. I don't know why they added it.
I got you for the edit. I got you.
There was a lot of like smooching upstairs, and then that S&M scene with the waterbed.
Yeah.
They didn't need to add all the nudity.
But I appreciated it.
Didn't hurt me. I'm still standing, right?
Yeah.
I love Elton John.
R.I.P. Elton John.
Oh, boy.
You're coming up.
Miss him already.
Now that Philip is dead, you're next.
Yeah, he was the next in line to become king, I think, too.
Queen.
Not bad. 1 to 7, that's the scale for Couch Pilots. We take all the information, everything we've taken in, interesting facts, the Twitter responses, what happened in the year is created, everything that we've set up to this point. It's all culminating in a delicious stew in our brains.
All comes down to this.
1 to 7 is the scale, taken from the television show from the 1990s, affectionately and accurately known as Wings. We look at all the characters, we assign them a number. 1 is the worst score you can get. That's a fella goes by the name of Roy Biggins. Number 7, that's the best score you're going to get, and that's Brian Hackett. Captain Philip, rest assured, you don't have a ghost of a chance. I turn to you. How do you rate, Spectre?
I got to give it a booby bump. I've done it in the past. I got to do it, and I'm going to do it next week, by the way. FYI, foreshadow, spoiler alert, I'm doing it next week.
Okay.
Giving this a baby booby bump. Not a baby booby bump, but...
A baby's booby bump.
No, a baby booby bump. It just still doesn't sound right. A small booby bump.
Yeah.
A lot of nice titties. Chris, you're swimming in a sea of breasts. Nice breasts over there. Teeth probably not so good on most girls over there. British girls don't have really nice teeth.
If you had to choose one, which would you choose? You want nice breasts or nice teeth?
You know what? I have to go with the teeth. I really do, because there is a girl that comes to the Moose, which you met, and
we're actually engaged to be married.
She has a grill that is just bad, but she got some nice titties.
Yeah. No, we've started seeing each other, and
How is that going?
it's going
Do you
great.
like driving her everywhere because you don't have a license?
Now, you know what? You say that's like a bad thing, but we're saving the environment,
And you know where she's at all the time.
and I always know where she is. But she's a great lady, and yeah, I mean, does it look like she got hit in the face with a 2x4 with the teeth situation? Sure, but she's got a beautiful soul.
Sure.
And an excellent rack, like he said.
I'm giving this a 2.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yikes.
It was painful. This one was painful, and it has been a while since we've had a painful one. It was just so dry, and just nothing was going on. It's a 2.
We're coming in hot off of a 10-episode season, which all of our seasons are 10 episodes, but a 10-episode season where we did all game shows that are a half hour.
Yeah, I was spoiled.
And I tell you what, in a couple more seasons, we're going to do one that's all like Adult Swim or cartoons, and that's going to be 15 to 25 minutes.
This is my sacrifice. I do this for the people. I don't do it for myself.
You're the Scott Stapp of your generation. You're probably in the same generation as Scott Stapp. But yeah, this is the hand that we're dealt. Sometimes we have to watch these long things, and honestly, that affects my score a little bit too. It sucks to have to watch an hour and a half pilot.
I'll just give you I don't mean to interrupt you.
Sure.
But Eli comes home from his dad's, and I'm about an hour into it. Right, he's sitting on the couch with me on his phone. Right, maybe 5 minutes. He's on his phone while it's on, and he looks at me and he goes, "This is stupid." But you know what? He didn't stay, because if he would have stayed, not went in his room to watch YouTube videos, and he would have saw tatas.
Yeah, that's what Eli wanted. He wanted to hang out so he could see grainy,
No, I'm just saying.
but when he could be in his room watching ultra definition, like he could see the fallopian
POV.
tubes. Yeah, pee on me.
What about you, Jason? What do you rate the show?
There were a lot of great classic boobs in there. I think, you know what? I don't usually do this. I'm going to give it a boob bump too.
Nice.
But I'm going to go 4. I'm going to
Okay.
go 4 because I didn't hate this. It was long. You know, every once in a while you come across a long pilot and you're like, okay, this is not bad, but this one did drag. There's some good performances here. The supernatural detective occult drama is an interesting genre. There could have been something here. These guys were the original X-Files, if you were.
Sure.
But I give it a 3, boob bump 4, boom, boom, boom. With that in your 2, we close the book on Spectre, and we'll never mention that show again.
Yeah.
But join us next time, won't you please, when we watch the pilot episode of Meet the Girls. You need this?
Meet the girls.
Remember, Meet the Girls? Andy Daly's character from County Bang Bang. Oh yeah. Gotta bring out the girls. Meet the Girls. Here's a little something to wet your whistle. Big city working girls Josephine and Lacey adapt to the twists and turns brought on by a small town girl, Mary Bell, when they welcome her into their lives. You can find the entire episode of Meet the Girls by subscribing to Couch Pilots on SoundCloud, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or your favorite podcast app of choice, and then simply click on one of our classically blue links in our show notes. Or go to YouTube, and you know what to do, too. What do you got there?
I'm just getting ready.
Okay. All right, that's good. Well, I didn't know what you had planned. Let's see. If you want to contact the show, you'll get some frequent flyer points. And, of course, the frequent flyer points can be redeemed for goods and services rendered. Go to couchpilotspodcast.com. Any other place that you go, it's going to be a crapshoot if all of our episodes go. But if you go to our website, you can hear every single God-forsaken show we've ever done.
You can sort through it by, you type in a word and find it. You could go by month, like year, a month. You can go, because that's, to be honest with you, like, the other day I was going through, trying to find episodes with Lucas on it, and that was the easiest way for me to do it. As you go month by month, and instead of, I was like, oh, when was the last time we saw him? Blah blah blah, and it was a lot easier to find.
Yeah, I think the last episode he was on was, I don't know if it was maybe a year ago or something. It was the Seinfeld episode, maybe. Yeah. So that's when we were doing a season of pilots or television shows that did work that we love, and he was on for that.
We needed a break.
Yeah, he would have been great to have on the Simpsons episode, but I think we had my brother on that, and my brother's a big Simpsons guy.
Yeah, he was Lucas was a huge wrestling guy.
Yeah, he loved wrestling.
Simpsons, Nirvana. It's cool.
Absolutely. We also have Twitter and Facebook, and if you want to leave us a voicemail, if you heard Lucas on the show and you want to say something about him, please call in 910-PILOTS-1. That's 910-745-6871. Leave us a voicemail. You'll get to hear what your dumb fucking voice sounds like, and you're going to get some frequent flyer points.
And it's people. We got a lot of we have 2 Pachinko machines going, right?
Yep.
And right now
They work in tandem.
But right now we've only had one on because people are not racking those points up.
Yeah, it's like the main stages at Riot Fest. You have one main stage, and then the other one. We were alternating so we get the most use out of our pachinko machines, but we have the capability to run them both at the same time.
Yeah, and we would love to.
Love to do it.
We don't care about gas prices right now. We'll
do it. We don't care about gas prices, guys. Go to patreon.com. I assume, just like that old soul singer once said, you work hard for the money. Just give me that money.
Yeah.
Give me your money.
We just watched a very difficult show to get through.
And we would like to have some money, please. Yeah. Please and thank you with the money.
We got more damn time than we got money, honey.
Speaking of more damn time, you had foolishly committed recently to giving me a compliment at the end of every show. And now is the time for you to do that.
Sure, and we're only on episode 3 of the season.
I already see your tremors shaking, wishing you hadn't done it, hurting, and coming up or hard pressed to give me a compliment.
No, not at all. I could give you compliments all day. But I will say that you are you have a kind of, your exterior is kind of like it's kind of dry, and some people that don't really know you might kind of come off as kind of like
I need moisturizer.
A pompous asshole.
That's why I always say that when people like you better than me. That's why I always say it, because I come across like that.
No, but you are a very dedicated person to your friends. Like, I know over the past month, I've seen you reach out to a number of people that are close to you, just saying, hey, what do you need? You need me to change Zoe's diaper? I'll come over and do it.
Gross.
You need me to bring you a chicken? I'll do it.
Gross.
And you don't put yourself first. And, most people that meet you and talk to you for a few minutes think that you're pretty selfish.
Yeah.
But in actuality, you're very unselfish, and you do think of people besides yourself first. And that's a great quality. That's why I'm your friend.
What should I do so people don't think I'm an asshole?
Well, you got a haircut. That was the first thing.
The long hair came off as an asshole?
No.
That was just for you, right? You just wanted me to have short hair so I could look like you. It's like when
look like me.
It's like when Liberace wanted to have his gay lover look exactly like him. That's what you want, right?
Hell yeah. No, but I don't. It's I walk in like to a room and I start to talk. I'm instantly, not that you're not standoffish, but I exuberate quickly, and whereas you just feel the room out, and
I slip back into the cut and let my gat explode.
But then when somebody starts talking to you, you're on. Boom.
I start snapping right in their face. I really
Yeah.
put my finger.
Put
my finger right.
When I first met you, I was like, I love the way he just, when he doesn't want to hear people talking, he just snaps in their face
until they shut the fuck up. I was like, I ain't talking to this asshole. Pompous is the word.
It was supposed to be a compliment. I hope you.
That's very nice.
I hope you weeded it out.
And you know what? It's funny because like when you grow up, your mom is like, hey, you know what?
I'm sorry.
It's not what's on the outside. It's what's on the inside. And I disagree. It's not what's on the inside.
No.
Like the whole time I could be here with you doing the podcast, I think, boy, I do hate Blake.
You probably say that.
Boy, that guy's a fucking idiot.
Right.
I hate Blake. I hate seeing him. He's dumb. He's ugly. He dresses like a fucking retard. I hate him. But if I don't treat you like that, and if I treat you like I love you, and that I respect you, and that we have a good time, that's what matters.
Yeah, and I'll never know the truth.
At the end of the day...
Cover up the truth.
At the end of the day, it is our actions which speak loud, and I would like to think that I am good to my friends, that I love them, and hopefully people will say that about me when it's my turn to go on the ground, It's like, say, hey, here's a good guy. He took care of his friends. He loved them.
Should I divert my attention from working on my best man speech for your wedding to probably start working on the speech for your funeral? I mean, which one do you think is going to happen?
Well, I will tell you what. Of those two things, one is for sure to happen. I will die someday. So I would say...
work on that one?
Even money, yeah.
All right.
Focus on that.
All right.
It's coming. This pilot may have been right. Before you say, stick around. I'm going to say some stupid shit like I always say at the other episode. But then after that, we're going to hear a song by our good friend Lucas. And like I said, he had given me many CDs over the years full of tracks. Most of them did not have names, including this song that I'm aware of. So I can't name the song, but it is one that on a CD that he gave me, and I would like for you to hear it now. And again, We love you, Lucas. We miss you. I hate that you're not around. It super duper sucks, and you won't be forgotten. You'll be in our hearts, and you're going to be a part of this show forever, man. We love you. This pilot may have been rough, but it's a smooth flight without Lucas. We love you. We'll see you next time.
Love you, brother.
To the hype, it means a lot of things. I don't really like singing in the rain. Play stupid songs, I don't know what they mean. I don't really want you sitting next to me. It's true, silence saw you. Oh yeah, it's true, silence saw you. Oh yeah. Might be super lightning just to be with you. Say your stupid line cause I don't like your shoes. No, it's not your fault, but I'll take it on you. Get a fucking haircut and get a fucking clue. It's true, silence saw you. Oh yeah, it's true, silence saw you. Oh yeah.